Have you ever followed strict diets, counted every calorie, upped your exercise, and still stared at the scale in disbelief as your weight barely budges? You're not alone. Countless people fight this same battle, frustrated by slow or non-existent progress, no matter how diligently they follow traditional advice. It's time to go beyond the calorie myth and uncover the real story, because what you eat, when you eat, and how your body responds matters more than any number on a snack wrapper. Welcome to today's Health Deep Dive, the insulin truth behind lasting weight loss. Stick with me through the end. You'll learn the surprising role of insulin, real-life test cases, actionable fixes, and stories that could flip your approach to health forever. Calories versus hormones, science over simplification. Conventional wisdom says eat less, move more, and slimming down will follow. Doctors, trainers, and media all preach this, but what if the formula is incomplete? Yes, calories matter. Downing 20,000 calories per day will obviously backfire. But the real gatekeeper is insulin, your body's storage hormone. If you only focus on calories, you're missing half the picture. Real example, consider a lab experiment. Scientists place fat cells in a nutrient-rich petri dish filled with glucose and fatty acids. Do cells balloon up just because food is abundant? No. Without insulin, those cells shrink, starve, and fail to store energy. Insulin unlocks their ability to absorb and hold fat. Without it, your body simply can't stash surplus energy. Diabetes is a window into fat physiology. Type 1 diabetics, lacking natural insulin, offer a dramatic demonstration. For decades, children afflicted by the disease would waste away. No matter how much they ate, their bodies couldn't absorb calories. Starvation, rather than excess, was the outcome. Only with synthetic insulin did survival become possible, and even today, underdosing causes unintended weight loss and physical deterioration. Paradoxically, overconsuming ultra-processed foods while supplementing with excess insulin can lead to obesity and insulin resistance in type 1 diabetics. Story: Maria, a teenage type 1 diabetic, had difficulty maintaining weight. She loved sweets, but without careful insulin management, food would pass through without nourishing her. With guidance, she learned to balance insulin doses, focus on protein and vegetables, and avoid dramatic sugar spikes, transforming her health for the better. Insulin, the body's fat switch. Why does insulin matter so much? Because it's the main trigger for fat creation and storage, lipogenesis. In ancient times, bodies instinctively packed away excess energy from rare food surpluses for lean weeks ahead. Today's relentless abundance, unfortunately, means constant insulin spikes, keeping fat locked in place and making it nearly impossible to burn. When insulin is high, your ability to break down fat, lipolysis, plummets. You become stuck in a cycle. Hunger increases, you eat more, insulin surges, more fat is stored, and less is burnt. The dawn effect, morning hormones, and the breakfast trap. Did you know your body releases a cocktail of hormones, cortisol, growth hormone, adrenaline, glucagon, right before waking? This dawn effect prepares you for the day, ramping up alertness and freeing energy from glycogen and fat stores. But there's a catch: your cells also become more insulin resistant for a few hours after waking. Engaging question: is breakfast truly the most important meal? Actually, eating immediately after waking ramps up insulin during peak resistance, potentially programming the body to store rather than burn fat. Strategic meal timing, delaying breakfast. Modern research and ancestral habits suggest a winning tweak: wait at least 2 hours after waking before your first meal. Extending this even further, as in intermittent fasting, means meals are shifted later, say, noon for the first and an early evening dinner. This schedule harnesses the natural drop in dawn hormones, enhancing post-meal insulin sensitivity. Personal story: as a working professional, I once rushed from bed to breakfast, feeling sluggish by mid-morning. Shifting my breakfast to midday, after tackling emails, walking the dog, and a light stretch, gave me fresh energy and even led to easier weight control. Sleep, stress, and cortisol, hidden drivers of hunger and fat storage. Here's where lifestyle beats willpower. Chronic stress and poor sleep send cortisol soaring, nudging up both blood sugar and insulin, which heightens cravings, especially for carbs. Inadequate rest triggers hunger, dulls your fullness signals, and propels overeating. Anecdote: Tom, a teacher, survived on 5 hours sleep and heavy coffee for years. Despite exercising, he never felt satisfied after meals and constantly craved snacks. Improving sleep hygiene, earlier bedtime, blackout curtains, turned cravings around, dropped his waistline, and restored his focus for teaching. The food factor: eat for hormones, not just calories. You now know that calories alone don't drive weight. How those calories are delivered to the body matters far more. Here's how to create a hormone-friendly diet. Focus on fats and proteins. Fat and protein stabilize blood sugar and prevent dramatic insulin spikes. Minimize carbs, especially processed ones. Refined grains and sugars are insulin superchargers. Replace white bread and pastries with leafy greens, avocados, and nuts. Whole foods reign supreme. Fresh, unprocessed foods, think eggs, fish, beans, broccoli, support hormonal balance better than anything to ever come out of a factory. Success story: Linda, busy mom of 3, swapped cereal for omelets, sandwiches for salads, and chips for carrots, and watched her energy and waistline improve without counting calories. Blood sugar stability: the quiet game changer. Stable, steady blood sugar frees the body from highs and lows, turning off the cortisol-insulin ping-pong. Cautionary tale: Mark lived on pastries and soda, suffering crashes by midday. After 3 months of swapping sugary snacks for nuts and fresh fruit, his afternoon fatigue disappeared, and so did 10 stubborn pounds. Coffee and breakfast: what's the real impact? Coffee in the morning isn't the enemy, unless paired with a carb-heavy, sugar-loaded meal while insulin resistance is highest. Drinking coffee solo or waiting 90 minutes can keep insulin in check. For those sensitive to changes, diabetics, pre-diabetics, this small timing adjustment pays off in appetite and energy regulation. Movement before meals, using the dawn effect. Before eating, get moving, even gentle stretching or walking. Physical activity chews through the excess energy generated by dawn hormones, helping realign metabolism and support fat burning. Night habits and sleep, finishing strong. Leave 3 to 4 hours between last meal and bedtime for optimal digestion and smoother overnight hormone balance. Heavy meals right before sleep disrupt rest and trigger overnight blood sugar roller coasters. Anecdote: Sherry, a graphic designer, struggled with insomnia and midnight snacking until she instituted a kitchen closed by 7 p.m. rule. Her sleep deepened, stress declined, and she woke up energized instead of groggy. What doesn't work? Shortcuts, pills, and false promises. Magic solutions never last. Only sustainable habits: timing meals wisely, prioritizing sleep, eating fresh and minimally processed food, lead to lifelong results. Pills, crash diets, and artificial tricks ignore the body's intricate hormonal networks. True mastery comes from working with biology, not against it. Lessons and takeaways. Insulin, not calories alone, determines your fat storage and energy use. Focus on sleep, stress management, and whole food nutrition for real progress. Delay breakfast to enhance insulin sensitivity and maximize fat burning. Moderate caffeine and carb intake during peak morning insulin levels. Find balance. Quick fixes fail, but small, smart changes build robust health. Conclusion: why real health is about timing, not restriction. Weight loss resistance is not personal failure, it's biology. Once you learn to honor your body's signals, work with insulin instead of against it, and support health through gentle, progressive change, your results will finally stick. Try these strategies for a few weeks, note your energy, mood, and progress, and share your journey. If it worked for Maria, Tom, Linda, Mark, and Sherry, it can work for any dedicated viewer. Please comment below if you've tried these lifestyle tweaks, or if you have your own story. For more actionable health breakthroughs, subscribe, hit the bell, and join this community of truth-seeking health people.